Welcome to Royal Daily Report, your #1 source for royal news and exclusive stories. I'm your host, and today we bring you a story that has been whispered about for years but never fully answered. Make sure to subscribe to Royal Daily Report and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our exclusive coverage. It was supposed to be the interview of the decade. A California garden, sun-shining bird songs in the background. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry sat across from Oprah Winfrey, the most famous interviewer in the world, ready to explain why they walked away from the British crown. But while millions of people focused on the questions asked on camera, something else was happening just out of sight. Word from the street says Oprah's own production crew noticed something unusual. They whispered about Meghan's belly. It didn't look quite right, they claimed. The bump shifted strangely beneath her clothes in ways a natural pregnancy shouldn't. Then came the silence. Sources say members of Oprah's crew were forced to sign non-disclosure agreements, stopping them from ever revealing what they saw. Oprah herself, the master of asking what no one else dares, reportedly wanted to raise the question. But when she leaned toward it, Meghan is said to have shut her down. Not the right time, and that was it. The cameras rolled on. The questions went elsewhere. But the most important question, the one that could have changed the interview forever, was left hanging in the air. The world thought it was watching everything unfold. In reality, the biggest secret might have been left off screen. Stay with Royal Daily Report for more exclusive royal updates. The whispers weren't new. From the very beginning of her first pregnancy, Meghan Markle's baby bump looked different to some observers. Photos showed angles where her stomach looked unusually square. Videos captured moments where it seemed to fold or move when she bent down. Critics claimed the bumps dropped too low on her body or grew unnaturally. Most mothers know bumps can change shape with clothing, posture, or movement. But in Meghan's case, every frame was zoomed in and examined. And soon a phrase began to follow her everywhere. The moon bump. The claim was shocking but simple. Meghan wasn't carrying her child herself. Instead, she was hiding a surrogate, using a fake belly as cover. What should have been a private journey into motherhood became a shadow war of rumors, where every photograph was treated as evidence and every appearance a courtroom. And yet, for all the noise, nothing was proven. No document came out, no admissions leaked. What lived on was the story and the suspicion that someone somewhere wasn't telling the full truth. If you're enjoying this investigation, subscribe to Royal Daily Report for more. The official record is clear. Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor was born on May 6, 2019, at 5:26 in the morning. His birth certificate lists Portland Hospital in London. The documents exist. The baby exists. But that didn't silence the whispers. It only gave them more fuel. Because just hours before Archie's arrival was announced, the palace had told the press something strange. Meghan was in labor. By the time reporters rushed to cover the story, Archie had already been born. It was a small mistake in communication, but in a world where every detail is examined closely, it poured gasoline on the fire. If the palace was willing to bend the timeline, what else could they be hiding? That's the moment the moon bump rumor dug its roots deep. Official paperwork said one thing, but the way the story was told, delayed, cautious, and inconsistent, left space for doubt to grow. And when doubt takes root in royal soil, it never dies quietly. Keep watching Royal Daily Report for the full story. Tradition is everything in the royal family. For decades, new royal mothers walked out of the hospital doors just hours after giving birth. Princess Diana did it with baby William and Harry. Kate Middleton did it with George, Charlotte, and Louis. Cameras flashed, the world cheered, and Britain saw living proof of continuity. But Meghan and Harry broke that tradition. They didn't stand on the hospital steps with Archie. Instead, they staged a private photo call days later inside Windsor Castle. It was quiet, controlled. To some, modern and respectful. To others, it looked like a deliberate cover-up. Then came the birth certificate twist. At one point, Meghan's given names were removed from Archie's certificate. A bureaucratic change, yes, but one tabloid spun into another secret. Why would a mother's name vanish from her child's record? The palace explained it as a formality, but for critics already primed to suspect Meghan, it was just more evidence that the story wasn't straight. When tradition is broken, the public grows suspicious. And each small decision, no hospital steps, no immediate photos, altered paperwork became one more crack in the wall of trust. Subscribe to Royal Daily Report and stay informed on all royal developments. While whispers of fake bumps floated in the shadows, the Oprah interview itself gave the world something else entirely: a thunderclap. Meghan revealed that while she was pregnant, there were concerns and conversations inside the royal family about how dark Archie's skin might be. The moment was electric. Oprah leaned forward, her eyes wide. "Who is having that conversation with you?" Meghan refused to name names, saying it would be too damaging. That single claim shifted the story from personal struggle to palace prejudice. Within 24 hours, Oprah clarified that Meghan had told her the Queen and Prince Philip were not involved. 2 days later, Buckingham Palace released a carefully worded response. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. Those 4 words, "some recollections may vary," became infamous. It was the palace drawing a line politely, but firmly suggesting that Meghan's truth was not the only truth. And in that polite denial, another crack appeared. Because if Meghan's story about racism was now being questioned, what else might be disputed? For critics, it was fuel. If the palace was willing to challenge Meghan publicly on one claim, then whispers about moon bumps and hidden surrogates suddenly seemed harder to dismiss. Royal Daily Report brings you stories others won't tell. Subscribe now. 2 years later, the contradictions only grew louder. In January 2023, Prince Harry was promoting his memoir, Spare. He gave interviews to Tom Bradby on ITV and to CBS in the United States. And in those interviews, Harry did something that stunned viewers. He walked back what many thought had been one of the central claims of the Oprah interview. "I never said my family were racist," Harry insisted. Instead, he reframed the infamous conversation about Archie's skin color as unconscious bias. Not racism, but bias. Unintentional, a chance to learn. The careful explanation might have been meant to soften old wounds, but it had the opposite effect. Broadcasters pressed him. If it wasn't racism, why didn't you clarify that in 2021? Why allow the royal family to be branded racist for 2 years, only to change the story later? Critics accused him of moving the goalpost. Others wondered whether Meghan had overstated the claim, or whether Harry was shifting his story now to protect the family he once condemned. Either way, the damage was done. The Oprah interview, once seen as a clean bombshell, now looked messy, contradictory, and incomplete. And for those already questioning Meghan's honesty about her pregnancy, this was more fuel for suspicion. Because when one story changes, people begin to wonder how many others have too. For exclusive royal coverage, subscribe to Royal Daily Report. February 2019. Meghan Markle arrives in New York City for what the press describes as a star-studded baby shower. The venue, the Mark Hotel on Manhattan's Upper East Side. Inside, the guest list sparkled with names like Serena Williams, Amal Clooney, and Oprah's close friend, Gayle King. Cameras flashed, headlines praised, and the event was splashed across every major outlet as a glamorous moment for the Duchess. But behind the glitter, whispers started. Word from the street claimed that, during one evening outing with her close friend Marcus Anderson, Meghan forgot something unusual: her prosthetic bump. The allegation was never proven, but once whispered, it refused to die. What should have been remembered as a dazzling celebration became one more shadow. To critics, the baby shower wasn't proof of joy. It was proof of theater. The rumors didn't stay in New York. They followed Meghan home. At Frogmore Cottage, aides allegedly stumbled upon discarded prosthetic bumps. The image is dramatic. Pregnancy bellies left on the floor of a royal residence. There was no evidence, no photos, no documents, just whispers, retold and amplified. But sometimes whispers alone are enough to stain the truth. In the royal world, where appearances mean everything, even the suggestion of a false belly sitting in a quiet English cottage was scandal enough. Each story added another layer. The New York shower, the Frogmore bumps, each unverified, each unproven, yet each feeding the same question. If the story is so simple, why does it keep looking complicated? Stay tuned to Royal Daily Report for more breaking royal news. January 2019, Meghan visits the Mayhew Animal Charity in London. Cameras capture her in a stylish outfit and high heels, bending down to greet a group of dogs. To most people, it's a warm, simple moment. But critics point to the footage as Exhibit A. As Meghan crouches, her belly seems to fold or shift unnaturally. Some even describe a faint snapping sound like something sliding back into place. The video is real. The event is public record. But the interpretation, that's where the divide lies. Was it just fabric stretching under pressure? Was it the natural movement of a pregnant belly? Or was it something artificial, adjusting beneath her clothes? Once again, the truth is caught in the gap between what is seen and what is believed. And that gap, that space of doubt, is where the moon bump story thrives. Subscribe to Royal Daily Report for daily royal updates. And so, we arrive at the silence. Oprah never asked the question her crew allegedly whispered about. Meghan never addressed the moon bump rumor directly. The palace stood by its records, issuing vague lines like, "Some recollections may vary." And years later, Harry shifted his own story about racism, leaving audiences more confused than ever. The documents are clear. Archie was born at Portland Hospital in London. Lilibet was born in Santa Barbara. Both children are alive, healthy, and proof of their mother's journey. But documents don't fuel legends. Silence does. The moon bump story lives not in evidence, but in the spaces between. In the question Oprah didn't ask, in the rumors never clarified. In the mistakes and contradictions that left just enough room for doubt to grow. Because once perception is broken, it's almost impossible to repair. And in the history of the monarchy, it's often the things left unsaid that echo the loudest. That's why even years later, the whispers remain. Not because of what can be proved, but because of what was never addressed. The moon bump story is not just about Meghan. It's about secrecy, silence, and the shadows that follow power. And as long as that silence continues, the world will keep waiting. Waiting for the day when the unasked question is finally answered, and the shadow of that California garden lifts at last. This has been Royal Daily Report, your trusted source for exclusive royal news and investigations. If you found this story revealing, please subscribe to Royal Daily Report. Hit the like button and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates. Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, this is Royal Daily Report, bringing you the truth behind the royal headlines.